So I want to give you an example of why you never, ever, 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 ever bend the knee to the woke, anti-racist activists. It's because nothing you ever do will be good enough. If you give them one thing, they're going to come right back and say, well, that one thing you gave us it's nice and all, and we don't want to dismiss it, but now we want this other thing. And if you give them that other thing, they're going to come back and say, we want another thing after that. They're going to keep doing this until they destroy your business. Whatever they might be asking you to do, they are not going to stop until your business is no longer able to function. And I'm going to give you a really clear example of this. Aunt Jemima. Well, not Aunt Jemima anymore, because Aunt Jemima was targeted by the woke activists, an iconic brand that so many of us had grown up with. Well, not me for the maple syrup. I grew up in Vermont. We had real maple syrup, but a lot of you liked the Aunt Jemima's maple syrup and the pancake mix, and it had the wholesome image of the older black woman on the bottle, and a lot of people really loved this brand. Well, Aunt Jemima was deemed racist. And when they were deemed racist, they agreed to completely overhaul their brand, remove Aunt Jemima from the bottle and the box, and they actually ended up renaming to become Pearl Milling Company, with a really innocuous building as a logo, because a building can't be racist, right? Well, we probably shouldn't give them any ideas. A building can't possibly be racist, so why don't we just slap a building on there, call it Pearl Milling Company, and call it a day, and we will never, ever, ever be accused of not being anti-racist enough again. Or so they thought. Because it's not good enough. It will never be good enough. Here is an article that appears in the Chicago business website. Now, this was actually behind a paywall. I paid the $1 to get the trial subscription so I could read this article, but I have archived it, and I've included that archived link in the description below so you can go ahead and read it for yourself. But let's take a look. With Aunt Jemima's rebranding as Pearl Milling Company officially underway, the brand faces a daunting task, trying to erase ties to a racial stereotype while hoping to hold on to the heritage that kept it as a leader in the pancake category for more than a century. Quaker Foods North America met with internal and external advisors, including a diverse group of consumers and a black-owned woman-owned agency. There we go. In its work on the new branding, the work done behind the scenes was extensive. At one point, a list of roughly 300 potential names was drawn up, says Christian Koffel, VP and Chief Marketing Officer for Quaker Foods North America. This month, the choice was revealed. Pearl Milling Company. And this is why marketing is a racket. Because if you really had 300 potential names drawn up and the one you landed on is Pearl Milling Company, dude, you just sunk millions of dollars into a rebrand to end up with a product that literally no one cares about and no one has any emotional connection to. Okay, that's a former marketer coming out of me. I did marketing for 10 years, and the amount of money that's wasted in discussions like this, I cannot even begin to tell you. But I digress. That is not the point of this video. It's the right move to change the name, branding experts say, but the choice is one that's going to take some time for consumers to adopt. Pearl Milling Company doesn't have the connotation of pancakes that Aunt Jemima's name and imagery has conjured up since 1889. And can we also talk about the fact, side note, can we talk about the fact that they literally removed the black lady from the brand entirely during Black History Month? Does anyone find that to be a little ironic? This iconic imagery that people loved, had an emotional connection to, they got rid of it in favor of a building during Black History Month. Seems a little racist to me, but like I said, I'm from Vermont. We have real maple syrup, so I was never an Aunt Jemima customer anyway, so maybe I have a different perspective. Anywho, Quaker must make its next moves wisely to project change and at the same time try to claw back some market share. Its roughly $350 million brand lost during the past year, and I'm sure that Pearl Milling Company is going to be exactly the brand that's going to do it. Pearl Milling Company is a return to the name of the company. The company was founded in 1888 in St. Joseph's, Missouri. Okay, well, that actually at least makes sense. If Pearl Milling Company was actually the original name of the company, that is actually a much better story and one that has not been articulated at all in the media, but whatever. That introduced the self-rising pancake mix in 1889. The name Aunt Jemima came to Chris Rutt, one of the company's white male founders, after seeing a song Old Aunt Jemima performed in a minstrel show. And then we get to the next step. Because it was not enough that they completely destroyed their brand to name it something that no one understands what the context is. That's not enough. That was just step one in the process of becoming an anti-racist company. Next, we have to go on to step two. For me, the rebrand is a great place to start. But for it to be truly impactful moment, they need to mean it, says Madison Butler, a Black woman who works as a consultant on issues including diversity, equity, and inclusion, and anti-racism at a company she founded, Blue Haired Unicorn. I gotta tell you, when I read this article, I wasn't even sure if I was originally going to do a video on it, but then Madison Butler's name showed up and I was like, I have to. Now, if you don't remember Madison Butler, here she is, right here. Madison Butler, I did a couple videos about Madison Butler on this channel because Madison Butler is an HR person who likes to dox conservative HR people and try to get them fired from their jobs. If you don't believe me, I have mountains and mountains and mountains of evidence on this woman. This woman she doesn't actually do work. I don't actually know what she does for a living, but what she seems to spend a lot of time on online is doxing people and then getting people to call their places of employment to try to get them fired. So I do actually have videos about her on this channel. You can go check them out. I just thought it was kind of funny that she showed up in this article giving advice to this $350 million brand about how they now need to become even more anti-racist than they were already. She continues. Too often, anti-racism in branding and marketing is done purely for optics and recognition rather than impact. My recommendation to them would be to truly educate themselves on systemic racism and how their previous branding upheld oppressive structures. So it's not enough. It's not enough in the land of the anti-racists that this company has spent millions of dollars completely rebranding, getting rid of an iconic brand that everyone knew about. That's not enough. We now need to dwell on that brand. We need to now go back and re-educate ourselves and probably spend many millions more dollars completely becoming an anti-racist company. I'm sure she wants them to hire Ibram X. Kendi to come in and do diversity training. I'm sure she wants all of these things to happen at this company, which makes absolutely no sense because they did what she wanted them to do. What all the little anti-racist activists wanted them to do, they did it. They literally changed the entire brand of their company into something that is now unrecognizable, and it's not enough. And guess what? If you go the next step and you do Madison Butler's little anti-racist idea, that's not going to be enough. And the next step after that is not going to be enough. It is never, ever enough with these people. Up until now, the brand made incremental design updates, including replacing Aunt Jemima's kerchief with a headband in 1968 and then removing the headband and adding pearl earrings in 1989. And these changes were made before PepsiCo acquired the Chicago-based Quaker in 2001. The brand has been updated gradually over time, but never, can you imagine how many millions of dollars they spent considering whether to give Aunt Jemima a headband or adding pearl earrings? And now they've completely upheaved the brand, and it's not good enough. Not good enough. Now, this new overhaul gives it the opportunity to walk the talk. PepsiCo didn't undertake such a massive brand review until the push for racial justice spurred by the killing of George Floyd forced the company and other packaged food makers to admit their historic brands were in need of massive overhauls. Uncle Ben's and Eskimo Pie have already been rebranded as Ben's Original and Edie's Pie, respectively. Cream of Wheat is removing the black man from its packaging, and Mrs. Buttersworth is in the midst of their own review. Food is becoming anti-racist. I can't. To some branding experts, it's a bit too late. Too little too late, food companies. They've been making adjustments over the past couple decades knowing something that was maybe an issue but didn't take it seriously enough until it was demanded of them, says Alex Center, founder of design and branding company Center. I think it will always paint this way that feels reactive rather than proactive. PepsiCo is one of the most outspoken companies last year, outlining a series of initiatives to support Black people inside and outside the company, backed by more than $400 million over 5 years, separate from Aunt Jemima's $5 million commitment. $400 million Pepsi's spending on this stuff. Just a reminder that there's absolutely zero evidence that anti-racist training in organizations works. In fact, all the evidence points to the fact that companies are better doing nothing than spending $400 million on something that is nothing more than a virtue signal. But you know what? Aunt Jemima has become Pearl Milling Company. Racism is solved. Racism is solved. But it won't be good enough. They're going to have to keep going back and doing more and more and more because, as we know from our anti-racist educators, this is a lifelong commitment that will never, ever end. All right, guys, that's all I've got for this one. Listen, if you enjoyed this, I hope you'll consider subscribing to the channel, giving it a thumbs up, turning on notifications, all that good stuff. I also hope I can convince you to get off YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, guys, we need to start getting on all tech platforms. YouTube hates us. They really do. Now, sadly, it is the thing where I can make the most money right now, and I like doing things like paying my mortgage. Like, that makes me really happy to be able to, like, have a roof over my head. I can't do content for you guys if I don't have a roof over my head. But the fact of the matter is, YouTube hates us. And so I've really been trying to build up on alternative platforms. You guys have heard me talking an awful lot about locals. All of my videos on YouTube are also on my locals. I'm also on Library/Odyssey. I'm on Minds. I've also recently just joined Rockfin. So Rockfin is a site, there we go. Rockfin is a site where you can get all the content you're going to have on here. Plus, you're going to be able to get exclusive content. Yeah, I'm actually going to do exclusive content just on Rockfin that you can only get if you are on Rockfin, because I want to build up that channel. I want to make it something really special. I think this platform has an awful lot of promise. And guess what? It's not just me you're going to get on there. You're going to get a whole bunch of other creators. You're going to get Jimmy Dore, Nico House, Convo Couch, if you like the more lefty populist stuff. You're going to get, let's see, Wayne Dupree's on there. Jesse Lee Peterson's on there. Mike Cernovich, Scott Adams. So they've got a good variety of creators. You can really find something for anyone. And the cool thing about Rockfin is as Rockfin grows, they're going to take care of us a lot better than YouTube. It's completely uncensored. They don't get in our business about content. And, you know, we're kind of like all in it together over there. When one creator succeeds, we all succeed. It's a really unique way of monetizing content. So I'm really excited about it. I hope you'll join me on Rockfin. The information is in a pinned comment right below this video, so you can get over there nice and easy. That's all I've got for right now. I'll see you soon.